All right, good morning, everyone. It is now 10 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started here. My name is Ashley Daga, and I am a training coordinator here with the California Transition Assistance Program team here at CalVet. And I'm very excited to have you here with us on our CalTAP Presents VA Healthcare Information webinar. And again, I'd like to welcome you here. We have a lot of great information here today, a packed agenda with lots of great information for you. So before, I just want to kind of go over some housekeeping information. We do encourage and ask that you utilize your mute function during our presentation. And in addition to that, if you could just we do ask that you keep your cameras off as well. And this is just to ensure that our presenters aren't distracted nor are any of the other participants. As I said, we have a lot of great information that'll be coming your way. So our agenda, we have Kirk Eller, who is also one of my counterparts, who will be coming on and giving you an overview of your CalTAP benefits. And then Calvin, who is a link, will come on and give you some information in regards to what he does. And then finally, we have Charles Green from the VA, who will be providing you with some great information. Once all of the presenters are done, we will have a virtual Q&A that we will have, you will be able to send questions to the chat, and I will be monitoring them and fielding them. And so if you have any questions throughout the event, I will either answer them on the spot or send them or ask them at the end during our virtual Q&A. We do ask that you keep your questions general, and that if you do have a personal question, maybe you can reach out to Charles at the end, or we can try and get you assistance with that as well. With that being said, I do have, next slide. Okay, so this is just a quick overview of how the chat function works. If you just hover down at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to find that. Before we kind of move on, I did want to just kind of go over something that I missed. You should have received an email with a link for our Veterans Resource Book. This has a lot of great information that will be covered here shortly, but then there'll be all that information in the resource book will go into much more detail. In addition to that, you should have also received a link map as well. And without further ado, if you can move to the next slide. My counterpart, Kirk Eller, will come on and provide you with the CalTAP overview presentation.
Thank you, Ashley. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kirk Eller. I am a training coordinator here for the California Department of Veteran Affairs CalTAP unit. On behalf of all of us here at CalVet and our CalTAP unit, I want to thank you all for your service. Thank you for joining us this morning, and we have some really good information. I'm going to briefly go over what the CalTAP program is, what we do, and how we can provide some resources and information to you on some of your benefits that you've earned, as well as go over some of your California state benefits. So the CalTAP program was designed to really inform and connect veterans of all eras, not just service members as they exit the service, but veterans of all eras to what your earned federal and state benefits are. And we also want to provide that support and assistance to you and your dependents as those needs change over time. And how we do that is we have 5 pathways. The core curriculum pathway, this covers what your basic California benefits are. And then we have education pathway, employment pathway, entrepreneurship if you want to start your own business. And there's a 5th pathway that's called for service providers. So if you have a business and you want to work with veterans, this pathway provides information on how you can train and learn the nuances of working with veteran programs. To get our website, a Google search for calvet.ca.gov comes up as the top search report. That is our homepage for our website, which will look like this. On this website, you can access a multiple of information from education, employment, and home loans, as well as finding your county veteran service office, as well as the hotline. You can also register on My CalVet, and you can get updates and find out information on legislation, on veteran benefits and rights, as well as how to contact us there. At the bottom of the page, you can actually access the publications link to get a copy of our Veterans Resource Book electronically. I did post in the chat the file for the downloadable link for the resource book, and Ashley's going to put the link to this page as well in the chat. I highly encourage you to download that information. This is what our resource book looks like. On the back of the page, there's our 800 number as well as our email there. This information is like gold. There's a lot of information in this book that you can have. I highly encourage you to download it on a mobile device. You can have access to it if you're out and about. If you're talking with another veteran and you need some information, it's at your fingertips. It's a lot of resources. This is what the book looks like electronically, and it has the welcome page there from our Secretary, Dr. Imbasiani. So how can you use CalTAP online? CalTAP online, if you go to our website, on the page there where it's highlighted CalTAP with the laptop, you can access the CalTAP page, which will take you here to the 5 pathways. And I have the highlighted core curriculum pathway highlighted, which will specify what your California benefits are. On each one of these pathways, I encourage you to go through each one as you deem necessary to gain information and knowledge on those particular topics. There's self-paced modules under each one that you can go through at your own leisure to find information on all of this topics. So the core curriculum pathway has 9 modules, 9 modules, and you can find the California benefits under module 5. Under module 5, you'll see the overview of what their benefits are. And there's also lesson plans available to go over individually, or you can go over the general of all of the benefits. So what are your California benefits? Under the resource book, it begins in chapter 1. On page 13, there's also a link of all the different Bay Area, or all the different links of the region. This is what the actual lesson plans look like in the overview for your California benefits in the electronic version of the book. One of the most popular benefits for California veterans is the college tuition fee waiver. This benefit is available to veteran dependents. There's 4 plans that you can be eligible for. And what this does is it waives tuition and fees for the dependents at any state-funded school, whether it's a UC, CSU, or a community college. And it saves millions of dollars a year for veterans. And to be eligible, you just have to be registered with a service-connected disability rating of 0% or greater from the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. So I highly encourage you to have a disability claim filed. Even if it's 0%, your dependents can still be eligible for a tuition fee waived. We also have DMV programs. Our DMV programs allow you to have the veteran designation put on your driver's license. There's honoring veteran license plates, which will allow you to put your unit logo, your branch of service, Purple Heart recipients, Gold Star families, things like that to show your pride and also to honor veterans on your license plate. One key note for the license plate, the fees for those, a lot of people think that I don't want to pay extra for those license plates because they're costly. And just to highlight that the fees for those actually go to veteran programs throughout the state. Another benefit is the motor vehicle registration fee waiver. For disabled veterans of 100% service-connected disability through the VA, they can be eligible to have their motor vehicle registrations fees waived. Outdoor activities are also popular. If you have a service-connected disability rating of 50% or greater, you can be eligible for a reduced annual fees for fishing and hunting license. I believe it's about $8. And also, if you have a 50% disability, you can be eligible for no-cost Distinguished Veterans Pass for the state park system. This would waive all charges for state parks and campgrounds throughout the state of California. That's a great program. Tax exemption programs. The disabled veteran property tax exemption, you would need to call your local county assessor's office to be specific on what the actual tax exemptions would be based on where you reside, which county you reside in. So I highly encourage you to contact them and find out who's eligible and what the benefits and the exemption would be. The same thing with a business tax exemption. You would need to contact the county for that exemption. Calvet also has a disabled veteran business enterprise program. If you are a small business owner and a disabled veteran, you can certify your business through the state of California through this program, which would enable you to contract with the state, and it puts you on a list through Cal eProcure to have your business contracts service with veteran first businesses. Calvet Home Loans is another program that's very, very, very popular. It provides financing for veterans and competitive market interest rates. And also you can be eligible to use this in conjunction with your federal VA loan. Brad Pedersen, our spokesperson for the home loans, likes to call it the bucket of benefits, to use your VA benefit and your Calvet benefit together. So contact the Calvet loans. I believe Ashley's putting some information in the chat if you need to contact the Calvet home loans. They can give you all the information for that. Or you can go to our home page on our website and find information as well. The Calvet Women Veterans is another program through our Calvet division that provides information and advocacy and outreach, as well as support to California women veterans. They partner with the California Women Veteran Leadership Council, and they also have a statewide roster that you can log in and register for to provide information on upcoming events, the Women Veterans Annual Reception, and a lot of events annually and monthly, and you can be eligible for those. Calvet Minority Veterans, another division for Calvet. They also provide information and advocacy and outreach to California minority veterans. They help with a naturalized veterans pathway to citizenship and naturalization services, which can be awful costly. This is their website. They also have a statewide roster that you can sign up for here, and you can receive information and updates on events. Our Calvet homes for long-term care for our veterans. We have 8 homes throughout the state of California. They provide long-term care, offering medical, dental, pharmacy, and rehabilitation and services, as well as social services for our veterans at the homes. I know they've been working on getting them all immunized and back into social activities. So they're really good programs they have. The locations are in Barstow, Chula Vista, Fresno, Lancaster and Redding, Ventura and West LA, and then our one up here in Northern California in Yountville. We have 3 state cemeteries throughout the state. On the coast and seaside, there's a cemetery in Northern California in Redding, and then our 3rd cemetery is attached to the Yountville Veterans Home in Yountville. Some other common websites you need to be aware of, obviously through the federal VA, you can access information about your disability and compensation benefits, filing a claim, updating your records or gaining your health records or service records, as well as applying for your health care. The e-benefits portal is a way for you to register and log in and manage those benefits, as well as apply for any of those. I would highly encourage you to contact a county veteran service office before doing any of that information so that they can advocate with you on the benefits and help you and assist you with that process. My Health eVet, this is a really great portal. If you have health coverage through the VA, you can register through this and message your doctor, access your health records and make appointments, as well as any pharmaceutical and prescription needs, all online. This is my contact information. My email is there. If you have any questions about the information I just provided, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and we will get back to you as soon as we can with that information. I'm now going to turn it over to our Central Coast link, Calvin. Calvin Angel is going to talk to you about his roles and responsibilities as a link coordinator. Thanks for joining us, Calvin.
Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate it. As Kurt was saying, I am the local interagency network coordinator for Central Coastal California. Next slide, please. There are actually 8 of us in the state of California that do the job of a link. As you can see in this map that I'm sure all of you were sent, the state is divided into 8 sections, not so equal sections, but 8 sections. In the center there is my region. From Santa Cruz to Santa Barbara County is a section that I cover. San Benito is also in there as well. As you can see, if you're in any of these areas, please take the time to contact your local link, and even if it's just to acquaint yourself with the person there. But as I go through the next couple of slides, you'll see that our roles in your communities are pretty substantial, particularly if you're looking to connect with benefits or resources that you may not be aware of. We could possibly help you with that. Next slide, please. So the role of a link is to provide outreach and service to our service members, veterans, and their family members, make referrals to work directly with established service providers and networks, assist with local emergencies, and provide leadership and advocacy to local communities. So just with a little elaboration there, the first one is pretty self-explanatory, provide outreach to service members. Well, that comes in a form of we attend meetings, collaboratives, any sort of meetings with local representation, all on behalf of veterans in that community. If they need something from us in whatever form that may be, whether it's something happening on a college campus, we can certainly help them in that direction. I have been on every college campus between Santa Cruz and Santa Barbara. I have a relationship with all the veterans reps there, and I have no problems with reaching out on your behalf. Make referrals to work directly with established service providers. Again, that just comes under resources and established relationships that I will probably have in that community with someone in order to be able to make your transitions a little bit easier. So my next slide, obviously, connecting to benefits, employment and training. Again, it's just a contact that I would have. I know most of the people that are working in EDD in my region, and I can make that contact with you if you're having some sort of difficulties or questions along those lines. I don't have a problem reaching out on your behalf or making that connection on you easier for you to make. California state benefits, county. Again, all of these are relationships. My job is in our jobs as links are specifically working in collaboration with local organizations and ensuring that we have the contacts, we have the relationships that we can utilize on your behalf. And whether that is actually doing something for you or just making sure you have that avenue in which to connect with someone that you need to have connections with in your community. And that goes for the healthcare as well. So our roles are pretty simple, our jobs, pretty detailed, but all for the benefit of the veterans and their family members. Next slide, please. So here's my contact information. If you have that map, and as I understand you all have, if it's not information that you need, please pass that on to another veteran and make them aware that this is a resource that they can certainly utilize. Here's my information. Please feel free to give me contact me if you need any information or any kind of resources in your area. I think I can certainly help you with that. But definitely keep the map. As I said, if you're not utilizing it, certainly pass the information on to another veteran who may be utilizing it. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I'll pass it back to Kirk.
Thank you, Calvin. We appreciate you, all that you do over there on the coast for all the veterans and stuff and providing that contact. If you have any questions or anything about your resources or your benefits in that area, please don't hesitate to call him. He will get you to the person that needs to assist you. Now we're going to turn it over to Charles Green from the Federal VA Health Administration there in Greater Los Angeles. He's going to give you information on the Mission Act and some how to enroll and all that. Please, if you do have questions, please try to keep them in a general nature. We did not want to share any personal health information in the chat. If you do have personal information, you can contact any one of us directly and we can get you that information for your question, okay? And I will now turn it over to Charles. Thank you, Charles.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Charles Green. I'm the Chief of Outreach for Hospital System for the Greater Los Angeles Healthcare System. I'm also currently the Acting Site Manager for the Sepulveda Ambulatory Care Center. This morning, I would like to talk to you about the Mission Act. The Mission Act was passed in 2018 by the President. And once the Mission Act was passed, the VA had 1 year to implement it. So in June 6th of 2019, the VA, we rolled out the Mission Act. And I just want to talk to you this morning about some of the key elements of the Mission Act that are, pretty important. When the Mission Act came out, it was basically looked at 8 key elements. And these elements, as you can see here, are combining multiple community care programs into a unified integrated experience, expand eligibility for caregivers, service to all areas of veterans, authorize anywhere to anywhere tele provisions across state lines, establishes a VA Center for Innovation for Care and Payments, strengthen the VA ability to recruit and retain clinicians, empowers veterans with increased access to community care, creates abilities for VA to match infrastructures for veterans' needs, and establishes access to urgent care in the community. Next slide. A lot of you probably heard about a lot of these different programs already, or you probably already used the Mission Act. But I just want to kind of like go over some of the key things that the program. So basically, the overview, some of the new things for the Mission Act before we get into the community care eligibility. Some of the new things were veterans receive new benefits under veterans community care. These would include access to urgent care, which we're going to talk about a bit later, expanded eligibility for community care. So now you would have the opportunity to have more accessibility to go out to see providers in the community, scheduling by the VA and VHA and the veteran and the VA work together to come up with what best fits the veteran, and also technology that streamlines communications. So today what we're going to do is talk about some of the key eligibility requirements for the Mission Act. As you can see, there's 6 eligibility requirements. And the eligibility requirements come from community care and expanded, and they're straightforward. You don't have to meet all 6, you just have to meet one of them to be able to go out in the community. Also, some key tools we're using to determine eligibility. We're going to be using a decision support tool, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. And we also be using our computer patient record system to make sure that we make sure that you're good to go. So I want to talk to you a little bit before we get into eligibility about some of the process. And I'm going to use myself as an example because I've used the Mission Act and went out for care in the community. So first thing that you're going to do is the veteran, he or she, they're going to seek care online or in person by their provider. Myself, I went to see my primary care provider, made an appointment, and I talked to her about my disability and what's needed to go out. Care in the community eligibility is automatically pulled from the veterans and discussed with the provider. So we're going to talk about more about wait times and driving distance once we cover these criteria. But for myself, I asked my provider to send me out for acupuncture. And so she said I was qualified. And the next step was that we were able to pick out a provider that's in a network. So I looked on the VA, www.va.gov. I looked on the network and I found a provider. And then my provider put me in for referral. The referral was sent to Care in the Community. Care in the Community contacted the provider to let them know that I wanted to go out for care. Once that referral was in, they called me back and asked me, like, do you want to go day or nighttime? What's your preference of a provider? Do you want male or female? Would you like someone, that speaks a different language? There was all different kind of factors that they asked me that I had to answer. After I answered that question, then I received my referral. Once I received my referral, I went out in the community. and I received all of my treatment for my care that was going on. So after my care was done, then the local provider submitted a claim through the VA through the Care in the Community program. Once the claim was done, the claim was reviewed and adjudicated. So that means that the provider was paid, and then the VA paid the fee that was due to the provider without me getting involved. So it's streamlined, one stop, as you might say. So I didn't have to worry about any billing issues, anything like that. Everything was one stop from the beginning to the end. So that's one of the benefits that's really important about the Mission Act for community care programs. Now I'd like to talk about community care eligibility. Next slide. And I'm going to go over these pretty quickly. So the first one is that service unavailable at the VA. For example, as you can see in this example, say we have a female veteran and she needs maternity care. Well, we're not in the business for administering maternity care. So what would happen is, since it's the best interest for the veteran and the service is not available, then the female veteran can go out on the Mission Act to receive care in the community. Next slide. Best medical interest. So if you have a drive time that's too far, or you go through a lot of congested traffic, or you feel that your complication is complex, you have the opportunity to talk to your provider and find out if it's the best interest of the veteran and for the VA to go out on the Mission Act. However, I would like to also let you keep in mind that if the VA offers the services and we have it available for appointments, then we would offer you that service. So, but if it's in the best interest, for example, if there's a specific cancer that that's out there, that you have, and say UCLA is better for treating that cancer, then you can talk to your provider to find out if it's better to go to oncology out in the community at UCLA to get the best treatment and the best interest for the veteran. Next slide. And again, this is an example that I used, someone that says for ovarian cancer, it was just better for the veteran and for the VA to send the veteran out into the community where they can get the best care for the individual. Next slide. Quality standards. So one thing, if the care service are not in compliance with VA standards for quality, then you could also request to go out on the Mission Act. And what we mean by that is that, say you're reading or watching the media or the news, and you found that a local VA medical facility was like ejecting maybe the wrong type of medication into a veteran's eyes, and that was causing that individual to become blind. And if you had concerns about that, you can talk to your provider if you need that care, because we're not in compliance, to see how we can send you out in the community to get you taken care of for the service that you need for that current disability. So that's what we mean that if we're not meeting quality standards. Next slide. As all of you might know, under the choice program, it was basically drive times and distance. But now under the Mission Act, so basically for drive times, now it's 30 minutes for primary care, mental health, and extended care. And wait times for that same category will be 20 days versus 30 days under choice and 40-minute drive under choice. But now we've reduced it to 30 minutes and for 20 days. But for specialty care, it's now went up for 60-minute drive time and 28 days on wait time. So in my particular case, when I talked to you about me going out for acupuncture, first of all, we didn't have the service available, but at another VA, they had it. Their wait times are about 3 months. So therefore, since it was over 28 days, I had the opportunity to go out to use the Mission Act to get care in the community. Next slide. And again, this still talks about examples for drive times and wait times, what I just talked about. If you were into one of those criteria or those areas, then if you qualify, then you will be able to go out for care in the community to get treatment for that disability. Next slide. State with no full service at a VA medical facility. So as you can see, Alaska, Hawaii, New Hampshire, Guam, American Samoas, you know, in these other areas, they don't have a fully serviced VA medical center. So if you live in an area that doesn't have a fully VA medical center, then you can choose to, through your provider, to go out on the Mission Act, to go out to get care in the community. Next slide. Grandfather. This slide here is sort of like outdated because when this slide came out, it was implemented in June of 2019, and you had 1 year to implement it, which would have been June of 2020. So basically, just to let you know, if you were using the choice program, you were grandfathered in for the Mission Act. But now, since this time expired, you still would need to see a provider to get a referral to go back out in the community. Next slide. Next slide. So before I get into urgent care, I want to talk to you a little bit about the decision support tool and how that works. And so you can understand more about it. So as I told you before, you have to sit down with your provider and go over with your provider some of the details. So in the previous slide, we said we will be using CPRS, which is a computerized program that we use for look up veterans information. And we also will be using the decision support tool. So the decision support tool, it has some different features that you need to know about. And one is that first, it calculates drive times. So whenever you have a disability that you want to get treatment for, and you need to go out in the community, we will put this in the system, your provider, to calculate drive times. They would also calculate wait times for our clinics to see if it's over 20 days or over 28 days of a specialty. Also, it gives you a glance to determine eligibility, and it also gives you integrated into existing council work orders. So basically, this is a comprehensive systems that your provider is doing everything with you on the spot. So you can see this screen to find out if it's a best decision for you to go out in the community. And most of all, this decision support tool, it's a best interest for the provider and the veteran when discussing how to go out to get care in the community. One thing that's very, very important about care in the community, you must opt in with your provider. In other words, when you talk to your provider, you must let your provider know, yes, I want to use care in the community. Yes, I want to go out on the Mission Act. And then once you opt in, then the provider will follow the next steps to make sure that you have access to going out in the community. So that's the first part of the Mission Act that I thought it was very important that you should know about, those 6 eligibility criteria. And I'm going to go to the next 2 parts, but any questions, you can put them in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer on the 6 criteria after I finish my presentation. Next part I'd like to talk to you about is urgent care. So as you know, urgent care is different from emergency care. Emergency care is like life-threatening, and if you need to go to the VA, to a local clinic, then we would ask you to make sure you're enrolled in the VA healthcare system, because any emergency situation, please call 911 and go in to any emergency room. But your billing and with the VA in the emergency department, you would have to work with them to work that out. I would also recommend, if you have to go to the emergency room and you are conscious, you could also let them know that you're a veteran. And once you become stable, they have they call a transfer officer in the VA to communicate with the emergency department to make sure that we know that you're in there, and it can help also with the billing issues. That's very, very important. But for urgent care with the VA Mission Act, it established a new benefit for walk-in care. So basically, urgent care, again, is non-emergency care, and it's non-life threatening. So you would have to contact a VA contracted provider in a network through TriWest or the Care and Community Network. So you can go to www.va.gov and you can look up urgent care, and you would have to pick a provider in a network. You put your zip code in and the provider, and you need to pick that provider or network, and you can go out in the community and get care for the urgent matter. If you don't pick someone in the network, then you will be charged the billing because you went outside the network. So it's imperative that you go into the network to make sure that you know, contact a provider that offers those services. Also, a key part of this is that you must have been seen in the Department of Veterans Affairs Health Administration during the past 24 months. Very, very important, because if you have been seen in the past 24 months, when you go out for care in the community for urgent care, they will know that you have been seen. But if you haven't been within the last 24 months, then you need to make sure you get enrolled in the healthcare system, because if you haven't been with the last 24 months, then they're going to charge you. So we want to make sure that you know it's imperative during the previous 24 months that you go out there. Co-pays, this is how the co-pays work. If you're in priority group 1 through 5, and priority groups is how we determine how you receive your care based on your service connection. For example, myself, I'm 90% service connected, so I'm in priority group 1. So if you're 50% service connected or greater, you're in priority group 1. So being in priority group 1, that means that everything service connected and non-service connected is free. And you can go to www.va.gov to find out more about your priority groups. For priority group 1 through 5, the first 3 visits are free. Your 4th visit, you must pay a $30 copay. Also included in this visit is x-rays and 14 days of medications once you go to urgent care. So as soon as you finish your urgent care, I would recommend you do a follow-up with your VA provider so you can get those prescriptions refilled, and then the VA can, especially at mail order, they can go ahead and take care of you. If you're in priority group 6 is basically special authorization. For example, if you're at Camp Lejeune and you had the water contamination, or if you were served in Vietnam, boots on the ground, you will be in priority group 6. And there's a couple of other requirements, but those are just examples. So in priority group 6, the first 3 visits are free. The 4th visit is a $30 copay. And if you're on priority group 7 and 8, you always have to make a $30 copay when you go out there. So this is a very, very good benefit, especially when the VA closes after hours, you know, especially like after 5 o'clock. So if it's not emergency and you have urgent care, you can just look into the network and go out to get care in the community. Very, very good benefit. I've used it several times. So I think this is a benefit you should take advantage of. Next slide. So as I had mentioned before, we talked about the 6 criteria for eligibility. We just talked about urgent care. Now we're going to talk about caregiver support. Caregiver support is new. It came out October 1st of 2020. So just to give you a little bit of history about caregiver support, previously to October 1st, it was only for OIF, OND, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Operation New Dawn. It was only for those veterans who had serious injuries that could get care and the caregiver support. But as of October 1st, now we've opened it up to different criteria. And what happens is for this first wave, it's basically if you served from 1975 and before, that is the first wave that's opened up. So if you served the Vietnam era and you have serious injuries and you need caregiver support, then you're eligible for that. If you served after 1975, then they're going to wait for another 2 years to implement the change. So you would have to wait for another 2 years for the phase in from 1975 going forward. Next slide. So these are some of the eligibility requirements for using caregiver support. A veteran who has a single combined service connected disability rating of 70% or higher. And these next categories are very important. A person who's in need of in-person care for service for 6 continuous months. And the criteria are inability to perform active duty activities or daily living, ADLs, each time the activity is performed, or a need of supervision, protection, or instruction, which means a functional impairment that directly impacts his or her ability to maintain personal safety on a daily basis. So you have to meet those 2 criteria to apply for it. So what happens is you fill out an application. It's called a 1010 CG. They send it out. They send it to the address that's listed here before. And then what happens is it goes through eligibility requirement check, and they find out if you're eligible. If you are eligible and your caregiver is supported, then your caregiver would have to go through educational portion to get training to make sure they can provide caregiver support. Once that training is completed and they receive a certificate, then they can start being a caregiver. One thing about good about this benefit is that if you're a caregiver, they're paying, like if you're a GS4, they're paying you about maybe like $10 to $15 an hour to take care of your loved one. So you're basically providing the caregiver support, but you're also getting paid for the service that you're providing. So I think it's a really good thing that's going on right now. And I just also wanted to make sure that you should take advantage of this benefit. That right there, the next slide. This right here is also eligibility requirements. You can take a glance at that right there, and it kind of like summarizes what I talked about. One thing in section 2, as I had said before, 1975 and before, those veterans are eligible right now, and effective 2 years from the date that was implemented, which was October 1st of 2020, then they'll be rolling in the 75 going forward. And again, those are the same things that I just kind of talked about. That's a good phone number if you might need to call caregiver support to get more questions. You can call them, or you can go to www to your local VA facility to find out who is your caregiver and support coordinator to get more information. Next slide. So that basically concludes my presentation on healthcare. I would also like to mention to everyone on the call, right now, Department of Veterans Affairs, healthcare, we are now offering COVID vaccinations. So one thing to keep very important compared to for the state of California, because depending on where you live at, they have different requirements. But for the VA, as of right now, veterans enrolled in the healthcare system, veterans not enrolled in the healthcare system, plus their spouses and caregivers can get the COVID-19 vaccination. So I'm gonna say that again, veterans not enrolled in the healthcare system, veterans enrolled in the healthcare systems, caregivers and spouses of those veterans can now receive the COVID-19 vaccination. I would check with your local medical facilities that you live by to find out more information on how to get vaccinated. You can also go to www.va.gov, and they have also a page on there about the COVID vaccinations. That concludes my presentations, and now I can answer any questions that are available. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. We're going to open up the Q&A portion now. I also want to highlight that my information, as well as Ashley's and Calvin's, is also there. So if you want to reach out to any one of us individually, we can address any questions that way. So now I'm going to turn it over to Ashley. She's been manning the chat, and she's going to access the questions if she has any. How are we doing, Ashley?
Good, good. So we actually only have one question, and this is for Charles. And it is just asking, does the VA cover chiropractic care?
I would say check with your local provider because acupuncture, I didn't think they would cover that, but they did. So I would say talk to your provider to get more information and see if you're eligible to go out on a Mission Act to receive that care.
Perfect, perfect. I don't have any other questions at this time. Again, if you have any questions, you can send them directly to myself at CalTAP Calvet Questions. We'll give it another minute or two to see if anyone has any other questions. I did want to just kind of note as well that I did post in the chat where this will be recorded at. So if you have any, if you need to come back and look at any of the this recording, you can do so. In addition to that, there'll be other recordings on there as well. And let me see here in the link that I sent out, and I'll actually send out here again. In the link that I sent out, there is also going to be the PowerPoint presentation that will be added on there as a PDF version so you can view that. So I will go ahead and put that link in the chat one more time for everybody. I believe there's one more question here. Let's see. So someone asked, they filed for a disability claim, but was never given appointments and was disapproved. Can I reapply or something? I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in on that. I would say your local county service office would be your best bet if anyone else has any other recommendations.
Yeah, I would say that also I will contact their VSO or the local medicals, their local VBA office. Like here in Los Angeles, we have a regional office. You can also call 1-800-827-1000 for information. But I would say that if you missed your examination, and you should be able to call in that number and ask them if they can reschedule you. If they already made a decision and they close your case out, then you would have to apply again for for that disability. But as long as they haven't closed it out and you're pending, you can just ask to get another date to get rescheduled for your examination.
All right, and so there are other questions. I don't know if anyone else has anything else to that, but there are other questions that are flooding in at this time. The next question says, if I'm 90% service connected, are my dependents covered with the VA healthcare system?
Good question, very good question. So for the VA, like in the military, right? When you're on active duty, it's the military active duty member plus your dependents. But for the VA, unfortunately, at 90%, the veterans only covered. However, if you're 100% service connected, then you will qualify for CHAMP VA. And once you qualify for CHAMP VA, then they will cover for the veteran spouse and dependents if they have the the right age requirements. But at 90%, it's only for the veteran at this time.
Thank you so much, Charles. Another question came up. The Johnson & Johnson vaccination was paused and was given at the VA. Will that be replaced with Pfizer and or Moderna now? Okay,
good question. Good question. So I'm glad you asked that question because believe it or not, this weekend here in Los Angeles, I'm going to South LA, and we already marketed and gave out the information for Johnson & Johnson. So reading the news this morning and hearing from leadership, we still are going to try to do the event. So at our healthcare system, we have Johnson & Johnson, we have Pfizer. So with Pfizer, as you know, it's it takes 2-shot vaccinations. So you get your first vaccination, and 17 to 21 days, you get your second vaccination. So as of right now, it depends on your medical center or the visit that you're in. You could have Moderna or you could have Pfizer, but definitely Johnson & Johnson's on pause. But we do, like here in Los Angeles, we have abundance of Pfizer. So I just wanted to put that out. I would check with your local area, the state you're at, the medical facility, to find out, what's available.
All right, thank you. Another question here. Is it possible to get care while traveling outside the country?
Yes. So traveling outside the country is called foreign care service. And normally what happens is, according to like the regulation, is that if you have a VA medical card and you're in this emergency, you should be able to go to a local military base to let them know that, hey, I'm here traveling, or you can go to the U.S. Embassy close by, whatever country you're in, to show them that, you have that. And then also Denver, Colorado has a foreign VA medical program. And I would say before you travel, I would contact Denver to ask about the foreign medical travel, and they can give you more updated, so you can be more educated before you go out into the country to find out what's available and what the next steps are.
Okay, perfect. Another question, it says, to be clear, if I'm a Gulf War era vet with 0% disability, I am not eligible for benefits at this time.
So there's a couple categories that we're talking about right now. So if you are 0% service connected, that means that you can receive treatment for that disability through the medical facility. However, you won't receive any you won't receive any monetary amounts from the VA, because you have to be 10% or higher to start receiving a payment. So 0%, there's no payment. However, if you're 0% for that disability, say it's a sprained ankle or whatever, you can get treatment for that disability in the VA medical center and medication.
Perfect. Couple more questions here. Let's see. I enrolled about 3 years ago in the VA healthcare and received my card. Is it still valid, or do I need to reapply since I haven't used it since then?
Great question. Great question. So I'm glad this person asked this question. So once you're in the VA healthcare system, you're in forever. You're in forever. However, what we call lost users. A lost user is a veteran who hasn't been in the VA healthcare system in the previous 2 to 3 years. So I would recommend to you that, and I would tell anybody on this call, if you have other insurance like TRICARE or Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and you have the VA insurance, I would say that once a year, you should at least go in and get checked out so you can stay connected with the VA healthcare system. For example, as I told you, under urgent care, you must have been seen during the previous 24 months. So if you haven't been there in 3 years, you can't use that urgent care benefit because you haven't been to the VA. So food for thought, I would say that every year, I would make it my choice to go in and get a physical to meet your primary doctor to stay connected, because that way you have you can talk to your VA provider, you can talk to your local community provider, and that's what I do. I use TRICARE and use the VA, but I let them both know what's going on, and that way I can get the best of both worlds to get health care.
Okay, perfect. All right, and then it says, can the VA certify a person for stress leave from his job? And if so, can we get a rating increase, or do we qualify for SDI? This will be a connection with the service connected disability for PTSD.
That's a complicated question. I would say that this question is too broad and it's more of a case-by-case basis. I would recommend that, first of all, that person talk to their medical provider to find out, like, what's going on, like the letter for stress, things like that. And then I would contact the VSO or the VBA to find out what options you have available. But that's sort of a hard question just to answer, because it's kind of like kind of complicated, and there's more to it than just one straight answer.
All right, and another question says, how is CHAMP VA different from the TRICARE for Life? Good question,
good question. So TRICARE for Life is a military benefit that I have. You normally get that like if you're medically discharged, if you retire from active duty, you get TRICARE. However, CHAMP VA is a VA program, and the CHAMP VA is a VA program just for your dependents, but you have to be 100% service connected. Versus if you were with TRICARE, there's no requirement for being service connected. As long as you were medically discharged or you retired, then you can use TRICARE. So that's the difference. One is really like a DOD type of benefit, and the other one is a VA type of benefit.
Perfect. And then the last question that I have here just says, are contacts covered by the VA, or is it just glasses, eyeglasses?
So for the VA, I would talk to, again, your provider. I know that right now that hearing aids and eyeglasses are covered if you're 10% service connected or higher. But the VA does have different innovative programs that are coming out. But to make sure, I would check with optometrist that takes care of you to find out more information if they have contacts available. I'm not really sure because that's not my expertise, but I know we do hearing aids and eyeglasses, but I would have you check with your provider or your optometrist to see if there's some type of program available. Not really sure, but I know about the eyeglasses and hearing aids.
Okay, and at this time, that actually is all the questions. I feel like maybe,
I have a
yes.
question, Charles. If you you were talking about the VA and staying current with your care, would going in for your vaccination count as being seen in the VA?
No, that won't count. That's just you have to like go in to like
Your
kinda
primary
like,
care doctor?
to talk to your doctor. Yeah, you need to
Okay.
have an established doctor and going for a reason. A shot, that's basically like getting a flu shot or a vaccination. It's open for all veterans, but you need to make sure you contact your primary care provider to get updated. It could be through My Healthy Vet. It could be coming in person, but you have to make some type of effort to be connected, like with the VA,
Sure.
with that provider.
Okay. Any other questions? That's it, Ash?
That looks like it is. That's it for now.
Hey, we had some really good questions. Everybody's on board with that. So I want to thank everybody for joining us for the questions part, and all the presenters for sticking around and providing that information. So I want to address some of the upcoming webinars that we do have coming in the future for the rest of April. If you can see this calendar, we have some really good programs coming up, and you can access those. If you have information, go to our website where you can see the recorded webinars and as well as register all the upcoming webinars. I know Ashley did put in the chat the survey link, so I would like to highlight that again, and we do value your feedback. So to implement any changes or improvements, I highly encourage you to take a little bit of time and fill out that survey, because we use that information very wisely to change these and provide those needs that you're requesting. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for their service. This is the contact information for our department, as well as the email for the CalTAP. Also like to encourage you to join us on Facebook and like us. There is a QR code there. And yes, there is a little dinosaur in the center of that. That was intentional. So this is the QR code, and you can sign up for us on Facebook as well. With that being said, Ashley just posted in the chat all the transit or veteran services page, as well as the department information again. And it's right on time. We're just now coming up on 11 o'clock. Thank you everybody for your service and logging in today and joining us. Thank you for the presenters for your time and providing that valuable resources to our veterans. Take care everybody, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you all.